This video is for you if you have a history of failed relationships. Maybe you already had a long list of heartbreaks, of being left, of getting broken up with. Maybe by now you think that there's something wrong with you, that maybe you're unlovable, or you're not good enough, or you simply don't deserve it. By now, you are even scared to ever try dating again or getting into a relationship because you're just scared it happens again. You're a burnt child. And you don't want to get hurt again, which is very understandable. There are very concrete reasons why your relationships keep failing, why people leave you, why you have one heartbreak after the other. And there is something that you can do about. There are things that are underlying reasons and root causes that you can look at and that you can start healing. Hi, my name is Christine. I talk about trauma and transformation, self-healing tools, and inner work and healing at the root cause level. And I mean, for myself, I have a long history of failed relationships, some long-term relationships, some shorter ones, and everything in between. And for the longest time, I didn't know what was wrong with me, and I thought it must be me. I thought it's because I'm just too weird, I'm just too broken, I'm not good enough, I'm not worthy, I'm not lovable, and all of that. And then I discovered during the course of my decade, well, longer than that, 12, 13 years of deep healing work, that there are actually really root causes for that. And I'm certainly not the only one. So if you think that something is wrong with you and that you're unlovable, then I can tell you that is absolutely not true. And it's not your fault. And it's nothing that you did wrong in that sense. It was just that a long time ago, probably when you were a child, something happened. There are many different possible root causes or reasons. And I'm going to talk about the ones that I'm aware of and that I healed within myself. But you're not doomed. You're not cursed, and you're not doomed to repeat endless heartbreak, and you're also not doomed to stay alone for the rest of your life. You can do something about it. And the first thing I would recommend you to look at is the relationship with yourself. Because, of course, when the relationship with yourself is not good, maybe there is even self-hatred, there is low self-worth, there is maybe even what I call existential shame that basically says there's something fundamentally wrong about me. Then you will always carry that energy, very heavy negative energy, in you, in your body, in your field, in your emotions, in your thoughts, that then brings you the matching experiences, situations, and people that match that kind of very heavy vibration. You will always attract mirrors to whatever that it is that you need to heal within yourself. And you will always attract people to you that mirror your wounds back to you and your trauma. So first, look at the relationship with yourself, and it's not even second, it's like at the same time, look at the relationship with your parents. I mean, I'm talking about parents here. I mean, however you grew up as a child, your primary caregivers. I'm just talking to make it easier and shorter about parents, about mother and father. But please apply it to your situation. So maybe you already know when you're watching this video, it's very likely that you know that you had trauma, that you had maybe that you have developmental trauma or childhood PTSD, that maybe you already are aware of attachment trauma, and I'm going to talk about that now. And no matter if you know that already or you suspect, it's actually, I mean, if you had trauma, then for sure you will have problems, probably in every area of your life, but certainly in your relationships. And you don't even need very strong trauma, like ongoing developmental trauma. We are very fragile as children, like anything that happens repeatedly that wounds us is already enough to create certain limiting beliefs within us, and maybe a feeling of I'm not good enough and I'm not lovable and all of that. And it can create an insecure attachment style. And the way we relate to other people, the way we attach to people, comes from our primary attachment figures, and that is usually the mother and the father. So let's say you had trauma, you have childhood trauma, your parents were, I don't know, like they were maybe abusive psychologically, emotionally, or you had some sort of emotional abuse or neglect, maybe even sexual abuse, maybe there was alcoholism in the house, maybe they were mentally unwell or narcissist or borderline, or in whatever shape or form that happened, you will have had trauma, you will have had developmental trauma and childhood PTSD. And usually, if these parents are in whatever way, shape, or form unsafe, then they were unsafe as attachment figure. But a child, like intuitively and instinctively, of course, attaches to the mother and the father, because that's just how we are wired biologically. We need our parents to survive when we are babies or when we are infants. And if anything bad happened there, if there was no safety around the parents, if it was not safe with them, maybe they were extremely dysregulated themselves, maybe they were volatile. Like, for example, you had an alcoholic parent, and, love was maybe there, but maybe really inconsistent. But maybe then sometimes there was explosions. Maybe they were yelling or even hitting you or anything like that. Maybe you had emotionally unavailable parents. It was not safe even to express your emotions. Your emotional needs were just not welcome, and they were not met, they were not fulfilled. Maybe there was parentification going on, that basically you had to parent your parents because they were emotionally very immature, or maybe a narcissist, or in whatever happened. If there was a rupture in the first years of your life in the attachment to your primary attachment figures, which is the parents, you probably or most likely will have developed an insecure attachment style. And I'm not talking now at length about this, but an insecure attachment style depends on your unique situation and on the way that your parents treated you. And there are roughly three different ones, which is the anxious preoccupied attachment style, the avoidant attachment style, which could be a fearful avoidant or even a dismissive avoidant. And then you have the disorganized one that is kind of the same as the fearful avoidant one. And that's the one I had, and that's the most confusing one because it's a mix of anxious attached, where you are full of you needy, you're clinging, you are I need you, I need that other person to make me feel okay. You need someone else to attach to. And the avoidant one is you're pulling back when someone comes too close to you. On the one hand, you want intimacy, you want love, you want all that, but there's something in you that feels like unsafe, almost suffocated when there is closeness. So you push them away. So that's like the push-pull dynamics. And I think also depending on the other person and their attachment style, you know, you're either the one like pushing or you're the one pulling back. You can be in one relationship the more anxious one, and the other relationship the more avoidant one. And it's extremely confusing and it's extremely painful, and you just don't understand why, and you don't understand why these relationships don't work out. But it all comes from the primary relationships you ever had, which is with your parents. And let's say you had a very intrusive parent, like for example, an engulfing mother who did not respect any boundaries. Maybe she was like a covert narcissist. Then she would see you as an extension of herself and not like as a human being in your own right. So she would constantly smother you, engulf you, not give you any space, not respect any boundaries whatsoever. And there's much more to it, but like, you know, growing up, getting into relationships, you would have that suffocating feeling again. At least for me, that created also that, like that avoidant, like I feel suffocated here, like I need to get out of this, while at the same time, I wanted closeness. I wanted to be loved. And it also can create the same thing. Like you get anxious too. You start to take all of that on of, let's say, your mother. And later on, when you grow up, you develop that anxious attachment style because that's all that you knew. That's all that you learn, and you cling and you chase and you pursue and you need someone else because you don't feel safe being on your own. And also, if you have trauma, it makes sense that you need someone else to even co-regulate, because your nervous system is so dysregulated all the time that you need someone else to regulate you. So there are many, many different versions of this. But just know, if you have you had some trauma, you had some wounding in childhood with your parents, then you will have developed an insecure attachment style, which one, the avoidant, the anxious, disorganized. But you need to look at that. And you need to look at the relationship with your parents, which is basically what we call the mother wound and the father wound. And to a certain degree, I think most people have that. But especially when you have trauma caused by your parents, then there will be a huge mother wound or father wound, or both. For a woman, it's the classic to have daddy issues. The father, and mine certainly fell into that category. He was emotionally unavailable. He was not caring. He was not loving. He never told me once that he loved me or that he was proud of me. But he was my father. So of course I loved him and I wanted him to love me, and I sought closeness, but at the same time, he was also the source of danger because he was so dysregulated himself that he was so volatile that at times he would just explode for absolutely no reason, and he would lash out and he would yell, and sometimes he would even hit me. So of course, then he was just unsafe. But at the same time, there was the longing for his love, and that would of course create that part in me that is that wounded little girl that still looks for that love that she never got from her father in men, but maybe also that volatility, that emotionally distant, that avoidance, that not being treated well would repeat in later romantic relationships, because that's what's familiar. So you would repeat unconsciously the same patterns that you had with your parents in later romantic relationships. and you're not aware of it because it's really, really deep down. It's very subconscious. It's not super, super obvious. So heal your relationship with your mother and your father. And that doesn't mean that you have to go there now and you have to talk to them and you have to forgive them and you have to hug them and everything, is whatever. Like, even if there is no contact, even if they are not alive anymore, or in whatever way, shape, or form, it's more about the relationship to the mother and the father of your childhood, not necessarily how it's now. And there are many, many ways to do that. But for me, inner child healing and reparenting has been the most effective tool that helped me basically heal all my trauma. And it includes healing the mother and the father wound, because when you start to make contact with your inner child, you start to listen to your inner child, you allow him or her to feel whatever it needs to feel, to express whatever it needs to express, to make it feel safe within you, that it can finally express her emotions and the needs, because maybe your needs were not met by your parents. So you need to become your own loving parent and mother that child within yourself that is very hurt and probably very traumatized, and probably parts of it are even exiled, like very deep, in the deepest recesses of your psyche. So slowly making contact with that inner child and reintegrating it and reparenting it and become the loving parent. That also simultaneously heals the mother wound and the father wound, because when you're your own loving mother and father, then you stop seeking the validation and the love from your parents that you will probably never get. And even if they have changed now, it will not undo the wound that was created when you were 5. In work, you will also heal the relationship with yourself. And the relationship you have with yourself will always be mirrored in other relationships. Not just romantic ones, all kinds of relationships. But if you have a poor relationship to yourself, if you deep down, you think you're unworthy, and you have a lack of self-worth, self-respect, self-confidence, maybe even self-hatred, you will always attract people who will mirror that wound back to you. Not to punish you, but to make you aware. To make you aware and to start looking, wow, okay, I have that. And to start healing that wound. There's one more thing I want to talk about, attachment trauma. I mean, again, if there was let's say dysfunctional family dynamics, there was stuff going on that caused you trauma, developmental trauma, childhood PTSD, and so on, and insecure attachment style because of that. Maybe there was something else that was a very strong attachment rupture. I mean, for example, I had that when I was 1.5 or 2 years old. Then my mother, who was my primary attachment figure, was in hospital. And my father just didn't come. He just didn't want to be bothered. So he called his mother, who caused all his trauma, so not a very loving woman. And I was crying in my crib night after night after night for my mother, and she was not there and she didn't come. And I don't know if my grandmother ever came or if she was really annoyed with me and she was not loving or soothing. So, and my father didn't come, not once, I think. And that created a huge attachment, like disruption or rupture within me that goes way beyond insecure attachment styles. I mean, also that, and what happened later with my parents and the dynamics there, that created the insecure attachment style, or let's rather say in my case, it was the disorganized attachment. But that attachment rupture when I was so little, when something like this happens in the first 3 years of your life, it's pre-verbal. It goes directly into the somatic layers of your body. It goes directly into your body. And into your subconscious. Everything in the first few years of life go directly into the subconscious there, because we're like a sponge. We have no discernment. We have no experience of anything. We take everything in that happens. And I've done regressions and all of that. And I've just half a year ago, 7 months ago, I healed the last layer of that attachment trauma that I had when I was about 2 years old. And I was crying for 2 weeks, night after night. And I thought I was going to die. And from that, so many extremely damaging subconscious beliefs formed. Like, my own family doesn't care about me. They don't love me. No one comes to help me. I basically am dying. Like, it was almost like a death imprint. My father doesn't care about me. All that stuff went deep, deep underground into the deepest recesses of my subconscious mind and in my body, in the somatic layers, and God knows where else. So, and all that other stuff in the following years added so much more to it, that there was just this huge mess of attachment trauma and of insecure attachment that then I would repeat in all my relationships, not just the romantic ones, but especially the romantic ones. So if you had anything like that, a similar thing, then for sure you will have developed an insecure attachment style. You maybe had a similar attachment rupture like the one I had. And then subconsciously you repeat these patterns again and again and again in your romantic relationships. And I just mentioned the subconscious limiting beliefs. You probably will have developed from a very, very young age things like, I am not lovable, something is wrong with me, everyone leaves me, I don't know, no one could ever love me, I am not worthy, I don't deserve to be loved, and God knows what else. And that is so deeply ingrained in your being, in your psyche, in your body, that you just, maybe later on you completely forgot about it, but it will still be there. And that is like a hook or a magnet that pulls people and relationships to you over and over again, who will then mirror that back to you. Yes, maybe you don't deserve to be loved. Yes, maybe there's something wrong with you. I'm going to leave you. I'm going to abandon you. So you need to heal the relationship within yourself. You need to heal the relationship with your primary attachment figures, the mother and the father wound. And there are many ways to do that, but start with inner child work and reparenting. And you need to look at your unconscious beliefs about yourself, about love, about life, what you deserve. Do you have a belief like that? I'm not lovable. I don't deserve it. And the next thing is, if the relationship with yourself, the relationship to your inner child, is like not good, you will abandon yourself over and over in situations where you should turn towards that little frightened child in you that feels deep shame, that feels fear, that feels so unloved. Instead of, telling yourself over and over again, what's wrong with me? And, like, I'm no wonder that everyone leaves me. I'm an awful person, or I'm ugly, or I'm stupid, whatever it is. Like, stop abandoning yourself. Open your heart to yourself, and the best way to do that is that you start opening your heart to that little boy or girl inside of you that is so scared, so sad, and so terrified, and feels so alone. Stop abandoning yourself, stop abandoning your inner child, and give yourself the love that you never got, or at least not consistently or safely or in the way that you would have needed from your parents, the love that you now chase in all these relationships, in all these men or women. Start giving that love to yourself. Because if you don't, you will always have a deep hole within yourself. You run around, you run through the world, and unconsciously you will reach out to people. Please love me, fill that hole inside of me. There's a void where my own self-love should be. And that makes you, and that goes hand in hand with the anxious attachment style, by the way, then you become needy, then you become clingy, then you chase, then you pursue, and that is an energy that is repelling. Unfortunate, I mean, I suffered from that for decades. I mean, again, I was both anxious, avoidant, depending, but mostly then anxious, and many times really needy and clingy and basically, please love me. But it was not the grown-up woman I was. It was the little girl inside of me that did not get the love that she would have needed and deserved from her mother and her father. So that little girl was chasing and needy and clingy and please love me and please give me what I need. And people, even if you don't say it that way, but the energy is there, they feel it. It's a very repelling energy, and that alone will make people leave you. And not because you're gross, not because there's something wrong with you or because you're unlovable, no. Because of that energy inside you and that wound inside you and that lack of self-love and the lack of self-worth and whatever void you have in there because of all that trauma and because of what happened when you were younger. And I know it's fucking unfair because of course you deserve love and joy and happiness and everything else. Of course you do. And there's nothing wrong with you. Absolutely not. Even if your survival and your coping mechanisms are sometimes not great and you're not proud of some of the things that you've done. But you know, that's very normal and that's a very human thing. And please don't think that you deserve it in any way, shape or form, or that you don't deserve love. You do. I do. We all do. So please remember that and remember your wholeness, because underneath all of these layers and all of these wounds and all of that trauma, there is still a core that is full of love and of light. And I know I sound woo-woo, love and light now, but it's true. There is a pure part in you that has never really left and that is not broken. There is deep down a part in you that is whole and pure. And remember that, because that's with what you reconnect when you start doing the healing work. It's not about fixing yourself because you're broken or not good enough. It's shedding all of that stuff, all of these layers and layers that you have around you and around your heart because of the trauma and the wounding that you experienced. So remember your wholeness, and I want you to remember that you are loved, that you are loving, that you are lovable, and you deserve love. You do. And also, I already said it, like wherever you are in your life, and if whether or not you have started some sort of healing and inner work and healing your trauma, you will attract the same or a similar kind of frequency or vibration that you have inside of you in another person as a mirror. I already said it before. And you could have similar wounds. You could have very similar childhood wounds or similar childhood trauma. You both could have the same or a similar mother or father wound. And then if you're a man and you have a mother wound, you probably will unconsciously attract women that are just like your mother. It sounds cliche, but it's really true. And same for the women. You might attract men that subconsciously remind you of your father. And there is a part in us that wants to have a corrective experience, meaning through that other person, you want to finally get the love that you never got from your father or from your mother in that other person. And maybe there is another aspect that you kind of want to, there could be a savior or a rescuer motive here, that you want to save that other person. And you are self-sacrificing, for example. You could also maybe subconsciously want to save, and it makes no sense rationally, but that's a very real thing. You maybe subconsciously want to save your mother or your father, and you use that other person as a proxy. Like, you see your mother or your father in that man or that woman, and that little girl or the little boy within you wants to save them somehow, so that they can finally be the parents that little boy or girl never had, and finally get that love that she or he still so desperately wants and is longing for. So there could be a lot of stuff going on subconsciously, but it always comes back to heal the relationship with yourself by starting to heal the relationship with your inner child, the reparenting, become your own loving parent, give yourself the love that you never received, make yourself feel safe within yourself, which also plays into regulating your nervous system, feeling safe in your body again. And slowly, you will shed these layers and the masks and the personas and the limiting beliefs and the subconscious whatever, and the coping mechanisms. And slowly we will become more whole within yourself. And the more whole within yourself you become, it's like a well. Like, fill up your own well. Become whole, become filled up with your own energy, with your own love, with your own power, with your own self-worth. Fill your own well. Because if your well is empty, you will always subconsciously run around and get it and seek it to be filled by someone else. And that is just something that will not last for a long time. That's not how a healthy relationship works. Maybe the other person is a people pleaser, a savior, him or herself, and it will work for a while because they want to save you. But at some point, they will have enough. And then they will leave you again. And this is the other thing, if you have an abandonment wound, which often goes hand in hand with that attachment rupture that I was saying before, because your mother, your father, whatever, abandoned you in whatever way, shape, or form. Maybe your father left the family when you were 3 or 5 years old, or the mother, or they just abandoned you emotionally, or in whatever way. Then that's what you learn. That's what your inner child still remembers, and that's what he or she believes. I will always be abandoned. No one ever stays. That it becomes, unfortunately, a self-fulfilling prophecy. But again, it's not for punishing you, it's for showing you what's still unhealed and what you need to become aware of and what you need to start healing. And I just quickly want to mention another level. If you attract then someone who matches the same wounds, the same patterns, the same trauma, the mother wound, the father wound, the attachment, the insecure attachment style, like it's 2 puzzle pieces like this. And it can feel in the beginning like, this is my soulmate, we're meant to be together, because there's a deep understanding and recognition sometimes. But you share your wounds, you share the lack, you share the trauma and not the wholeness. And maybe maybe there's codependency, maybe there is enmeshment, maybe there is savior, rescuer dynamics going on. All of that is true on the psychological and emotional level. But then on the spiritual level, and I like to talk about all levels, like in a more holistic way, there could be a karmic relationship on the soul level. There could be, maybe with that soul, you had lifetime after lifetime of whatever, some problem, some dynamic, maybe you lost that person over and over again. Or that person betrayed you, or you betrayed them, like in whatever way. At the same time, you attract in that person not just a mirror of the childhood wounds, traumas, dynamics, but you also attract a karmic relationship, maybe even a karmic soulmate. And that relationship is extremely strong and intense. And that one is the one that hurts the most when it fails. So to the degree you heal yourself, emotionally, psychologically, your nervous system, somatically, to the same degree you will stop attracting karmic relationships. I mean, for me, it goes hand in hand. There's a correlation. So from whatever angle you look at it, like, it's really worth it. It's really worth it to start healing yourself and to start healing your attachment wounds, and you start healing the relationship with yourself by inner child healing and the relationship with your parents, the mother wound and the father wound. And I'm not saying you need to rush in now to forgive them. There is often in spiritual and love and light communities like, oh, forgiveness. And yeah, that comes, I think, anyway, down the road. But in the beginning, don't rush. Don't rush with premature forgiveness. Because depending on whatever happened and the wound and the trauma that they caused, there is a part in you that needs that acknowledged, that needs validation that, yeah, that happened, they did that, and that was terrible. There will be anger, great anger, maybe even hatred, and all of that is normal, and that's okay. And don't rush with the forgiveness thing. You can choose that you are willing to forgive them at some point, but don't force yourself just yet. It's much more important to sit with all these feelings, to let them come up, to tell your inner child it's safe to feel that anger, and that it's okay to feel that, and you feel that with him or her, and that you love him or her unconditionally, and nothing what they ever think or do or feel could ever make you love them less, or let alone abandon them. You will not abandon them ever again. Ask your inner child for forgiveness first. That's more important. And then examine yourself. Do you need others to save you? Do you need others to even feel okay? Do you need to be chosen? Are you waiting to be chosen? Are you waiting for your prince on the white horse? Are you waiting for someone to complete you? This is one of the most toxic, damaging programmings from Hollywood and Disney and fairy tales, like this whole bullshit about needing someone else to be complete and whole, and I wait for my prince to kiss me and to save me. Like, look at that. If you have a programming and a belief like that, it's very, very harmful. You need to choose yourself. First and foremost, if you don't choose yourself, no one will. Even if they choose you first, at some point they will not choose you anymore. And they will abandon you. If you expect others to save you, then that's a burden that a person in a relationship at some point will not carry anymore. And that could be another reason why you're abandoned. Save yourself. You are your own savior. No one will come to save you. Like, look at your expectations, your standards, your belief around wanting to be saved and wanting to be chosen, and rather choose yourself and know that you're your own savior. And more than anything, take your power back. Take your power back from all of these people and all of these relationships that you've given it away to, everywhere where you have given your power away, where you are in a victim consciousness. And also, like, poor me, why does this keep happening to me? What am I doing wrong? Why does, no one love me? That is, again, it's a very understandable conclusion because of all the wounding and the trauma that once happened, and then the relationship repeating that, and yes, they left you over and over again. I get it, like, it happened to me a million times. That seems to be enough evidence that there's something wrong with me and that I am unlovable. But it's not. It's unfortunately what happens when there is a certain, trauma and certain beliefs around that, and a certain energy that will then recreate that over and over and over until you start healing it. So take your power back, choose yourself. You are your own savior. You are your own greatest love. That has nothing to do with narcissism or with selfishness. It is true. You are born alone and you will die alone. You are even if you have children, if you have a husband or a wife and parents and friends and whatever, you still After all, you are always just with one person, and that is you. So you might want to start healing the relationship with yourself, and you might want to start choosing yourself and choose to love yourself and become your own, not just your own loving parent, but your own best friend and your own beloved, you know? And the more whole you become within yourself and the more you love yourself, the more attractive, ironically, you will be. The more you will stop chasing others. Please, please love me. Please be with me. You will become more and more, you know, confident, and you will feel better and better within yourself, and you will need less any kind of external validation, and that will make you much more attractive, and people will start chasing you. You stop chasing people and maybe they will start to pursue you, because you are like, suddenly, instead of chasing, you have called all your energy back into yourself. You heal the energy within yourself. You become more and more whole, more and more self-love, and so on. And that makes you like a beacon of light. You shine your light. It's on a subconscious level, of course, but people will start noticing you. And more than that, the right people will start noticing you. The people who match that frequency of now, you know, more higher vibrations, of more because you stand more in your power, because you love yourself more, because you have more self-confidence. All of these things will start to radiate outwards and will start to attract the right people and the right relationships to you. But don't fall into the trap of, okay, I'm just gonna start healing myself now, because then people will start chase me, and then I'm happy. Like, the goal is to become so whole within yourself that you don't even need anymore a relationship. You don't even need a partner anymore, because you're actually okay. You're absolutely okay with who you are and with where you are in life, and you have a fulfilled whole life, and you do your thing, and you follow your passion and your purpose, and you enjoy yourself and whatever. And that, ironically, will attract people to you much more than before, and the right people. But at that point, you don't need them anymore. And the right person will find you at the right time. But don't do it for that. That's like you would lie to yourself. It's like a hidden agenda. Like, I'm doing this only to attract my perfect soulmate. Of course, that can still be there as a sincere wish for one day. I want to have a loving, fulfilling relationship with my soulmate. But don't do it for that. Like, don't put it as the end goal or at the finish line, and everything that you do is for that. Do it for yourself. Anything else will just naturally, suddenly, start aligning, start magnetizing towards you, the right things, the right situations, the right people, the right places, the right relationships, and yes, one day your soulmate. But not because you're chasing it and because you're forcing it and because you're pushing it, but because it's a natural consequence of becoming more whole within yourself and of your own self-love and having taken your power back and all of that. So that's it, my friends. I hope that was helpful. And yeah, I just really want you to remember, you're not broken, you're not unlovable, and you're not unworthy. You are whole and complete already. You have that light within you. You have that unbroken, pure part within you. Trauma just made you forget that. So remember that. It's there already. Connect with your heart, your soul, your higher guidance, God, source, the universe, whatever, angels, whatever you want to call it, to help you to remember. And then whoever you meet there, at whatever point in your life, when the time is right, will mirror back that wholeness to you. And that person will be whole and complete within him or herself too. And then you are not like two starving people who need the other one to feed them. You are fulfilled and well and okay within yourself, and you just share that with the other person. But it's not about needing. It's about creating something together. It's about sharing that. So thank you so much for watching. I hope some of it was helpful for you. And if you liked that video, then please share it with someone who thinks needs to hear this. Please like and subscribe or leave me a comment. And I would be looking forward to hearing from you. And I send you so much love. And know that you're loved. And you're worthy. You're so worthy of love. But you're more than anything, you're worthy of your own love. So I send you so much love. Have a great day. Bye-bye.